This is the 2024 KTM 890 Adventure R. Get ready for it. Rally. Now, everyone else is like, who cares? All you KTM guys are freaking out right now. And I hate to say it, I kind of don't hate this motorcycle. I'm gonna tell you guys all about it right now. So, once again, I hate to say it, but KTM has won the Dakar Rally not once, not twice, but 19 different times. And then they decided to build a street legal version of that exact bike and made only 700 of them for the entire planet. Actually, for the entire universe, to be honest. And normally what happens when you go on their website to try to buy it, you realize they're sold out. Because they only release a Rally edition every couple of years, and when they do, it's extremely limited edition. And this is the one that everyone wants, and I'm gonna tell you why everyone wants it. And it's for a pretty good reason. But first, let me explain to you what it actually is. It starts with the base model, and that's a regular 890 Adventure. So it's the name of the bike, it's made by KTM, it's an 890cc bike, and it's called the 890 Adventure. And that comes in at an MSRP of just under $14,000. Then you can bump it up, and you can get the 890 Adventure R. That's got more of the off-road stuff. The first one's more of the touring bike. The R is more of the off-road, the more off-road vehicle. That bumps you up at $15,799. That comes with some more additional stuff. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. And then we bump up to the Rally. So it's the 890 Adventure R Rally Edition, and they only make 700 of them. And this is a full-blown race replica. This is often the one that people want to keep them really nice or straight up race, because it is the best one. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, why would I spend almost $8,000, $9,000 more than for the same bike? Well, it's not really the same bike, and I'll tell you why. Yes, they all have the same engine. Yes, they all have the same amount of horsepower. But when it comes to suspension, and that is the biggest key factor, the 890 Adventure has just kind of their base suspension. It's got 7.9 inches of travel, but then they bump it up to the Adventure R, has a WP suspension. That's a lot better. That's got 9.4 inches of travel. And then you go the whole way to this is full-blown race professional suspension on the Rally. And that's a WP cone valve suspension. Now, if you're a KTM guy, cone valve is a WP patented product. As far as I know, no one else uses their cone valve suspension. I don't really understand completely what it is. All I know is that it's better than the other ones. And then it gives you 10.6 inches of suspension travel. Now, when I say better than the other ones, the key advantages of the cone valve is one, limitless dampening. It eliminates these sudden harsh spikes felt from additional shim style forks. Also, tire traction. The front wheel tracks the ground better, providing superior rider feedback. And then 3, highly customizable. The valving can be tuned externally by swapping out the internal cone or adjusting the spring preload. But the thing is, when it comes to going fast, the name of the game is 2 things. And that first one is definitely suspension. You take the baddest, fastest bike on the planet, give it the crappiest suspension, it is now not the baddest, fastest bike on the planet, and it's probably sucks in many different ways. The other name of the game is weight. Weight equals dollars. If you can shave weight on these motorcycles, it's gonna be worth a whole lot more because it's hard to shave weight. All the motorcycle companies all they're trying to do, except for maybe Harley Davidson, are just trying to shave weight on their bikes, because the lighter you are, the faster you are, and the less horsepower you need to make to be fast. Here's the thing, this is the thing you guys know I'm not a KTM fan. I mean, okay, sorry. I love my KTM. It sucks. It sucks really, really well. But in general, KTM motorcycles, I'm not a huge fan. However, if I were ever to convert to a KTM, this is why. They go so out of their way to make their bikes light. So on the 890 Adventure, 476 pounds. That's actually pretty light. But on the 890 Adventure R, 444 pounds. They shimmed off 30 pounds. 30 pounds is humongous. And then on this bike, they shaved down an extra 4 pounds, which is huge. Weight and horsepower is what really wins races. But I would not be doing KTM justice without someone who actually liked KTM talking a little more about it. And that is my buddy Brock.
Surprise.
I hear you like KTM.
I actually just came to bring you your gloves back. You left gloves, but yes, I'm a huge fan of KTM. I'm a huge fan of this bike. I've had one. This one lives in my garage. I actually don't own this, but it's on a long-term loan from my friend John in Georgia. But I have the KTM 500 that I just absolutely love. So I love orange.
You love orange.
I do.
And I like my orange thing over there too. So, okay, what's so special about this bike? They know it's got the suspension. They know it's limited edition. What's special about it? And then let's talk about what's modified. Because from the factory, this bike comes with Akrapovic exhaust. That's another upgrade for just the rally edition. And then this is I think Moose Racing
or AXP. I believe that's an AXP.
AXP. So this is an additional.
I may be wrong.
And you're wondering like why would you do as a plastic engine guard?
Yeah, and the other thing about these is that these are super slick. When you hang up on a rock, they slide over.
Yeah.
And the other thing I don't like about metal ones like aluminum, for example, is that at certain speeds they begin to sing like a tuning fork, and you hear this sound, and it depends on the bike.
Yeah.
But it really annoys me after a while. So I used to go all aluminum, and now I've been going to these types of plastic ones, and
I mean, it's so thick.
I like it.
It makes sense.
And if they break, they just replace them for nothing.
Right.
They'll just send you another one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
This is the tank. This is tank. This is all tank. This is big old droopy tank. Now, Brock, this is a stock tank, and this is after.
This is stock.
This is all stock.
This is all stock, and it carries its weight way down low. The benefit of doing that is when you're riding this bike, it feels like a dirt bike. You can sling this thing around, and then you add all the horsepower to it. I love steering with the back. So like if I'm doing a BDR and going into corners and doing these all day, I like to kind of get on the gas and let the bike help steer it. So I'm spinning a little bit. And with the weight down low and the horsepower there, this bike is an absolute animal. It's so fun.
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're moving 25 pounds on both sides from up here, the highest point of the motorcycle, to being next to the engine. This is right next to the clutch case and the crankcase. So exactly what you said, it's going to make it feel much more balanced.
Yeah.
I would assumed that this was going to hold a lot more fluid, a lot more fuel than normal. It's on par with everything else. Except for it's on par with everything else. This is, I think, 5.4 gallons. The Honda Africa Twin, the base one is 5 gallons. The BMW is around the same, but then the BMW...
The GSA?
The BMW GSA is 30 gallons.
50-gallon tank.
Which is the dumbest thing I get.
Yeah, it's obnoxious. I will say this. So I have the Yamaha T7, which is one of its competitors.
Right.
The T7 doesn't hold a candle to this. So doing the Transamerica Trail, I did it on this bike. I wouldn't have liked it on the T7. There were days where there were 200 miles between fuel stops. On the Yamaha, I just couldn't do it. So this is where the KTM wins. I think that this bike is better than the T7, the Yamaha, in almost every respect except for one. We were doing the Wyoming BDR and had to do, we were doing the expert sections, the red ones, and one of them was closed, had to do like an alternate to that, and we got into some really tough, really tough roads or trails. Really steep up with boulders and just, I mean, it was hard enduro. This bike wants to horsepower like spin the wheel, and it wouldn't get the traction that the T7 did. So we had both bikes. So I ended up having to ride my buddy's bike up two mountains.
Right.
The T7 tractored right through like no problem, and it was comfortable. This was a lot more, you had to work and really get that.
Because of the less power.
Because this had more power, and the T7 has less horsepower, and it has a better tractoring power. I think it has to do with the way the engine and the swing arm and how it all, but man, that like going up a hill really steep with boulders and rocks, the T7 was way better. But everything else, this bike is better. I got to bounce. Cool. I hope you ride this, and I hope you love it. Cool. Thing is exciting on the road and off road. It's a champ. So, all right, I'm out.
Right. So this bike is only a few years old. It's 2024. But chances are you got a bike sitting in the garage that's 8, 10 years old. It doesn't run as good as it once did. Sometimes the spark plugs need change. Sometimes the tires are getting bad. Sometimes the bearings inside the neck is getting a little worn out. And the bike doesn't pull as strong as it used to. You know what I mean? Something's a little off on the bike. Most guys will just live with the bike and they just be like, that's old bikes just wear out. They're not as good as they once were. But you and I know that's not how you fix things. That's not how you diagnose a bike. You don't just go by feel. You hook it up to a computer. You test things to figure out what's actually wrong. And that's the same thing with us. Some of us are getting older, and you might think you got enough sleep last night, but you might wake up dragging. You might jump on a 2-hour, 3-hour motorcycle ride that a couple years ago was no big deal, but now you're like, man, this is wearing me out. Or you don't have the same drive that you did back when you were 25. But you don't have to guess about that stuff either. That's what our sponsor of today's video, Hone Health, does. Get tested, get treated, and get results. One test gets you over 50 different biomarkers, and it's not just testosterone. It's heart, hormones, thyroid, metabolic health, all that stuff. So you will actually know what's going on instead of just guessing and randomly throwing parts at yourself. And it's not just some random report that gets thrown into an app, and it's like, now you figure it out. A real doctor goes through the results with you and builds you an actual plan, and it ships right to your door. To be clear, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not giving you medical advice. Hone will connect you with a real licensed physician who will walk you through the benefits and risks before you start anything. In the same way that you use tools to diagnose your bike, you need tools to diagnose yourself. Get tested, get treated, and get back to running right. Just $65 for the test, link in the description, or click on the link right here. Let's get back to this bike. So when it comes down to the powertrain, it is a parallel twin, and they're sitting like this. Obviously, it's 890 cc's, makes just over 100 horsepower, which is very impressive, and is a lot of power for this bike. Of course, it's chain driven, not shaft driven like the BMW is. Run back through, I think the back tire is a 18-inch back tire, but on this model, on the Rally model, it's a 21-inch front tire, where I think the other ones are running a 19-inch. Now, this bike has had a few modifications. The KTM kickstand bracket, some of these guards. Now, before we take this thing for a test drive, you may have noticed the latest Bikes and Beard shirt. It's not available yet, but keep an eye out for it. It is coming very, very, very soon. All right, so before we ride this bike, let me do the words of wisdom, the Bible verse. Matthew 7:14, for the gate is narrow and the way is constricted that leads to life, and there are few who find it. All right, now here's something that kind of threw me off about this bike. It's tall. This thing is real tall. So if you're 5'5", shoot, if you're 5'7", if you're 5'9", it might be big. It might be too big for you. I'm 6'2". I'm just able to flat foot it. Once the suspension kind of settles on my 185 pounds. So she's a big bike. Let's fire it up. Infotainment center. How do we change the modes? There we go. Oh, it's got quick shift. Rally, street, rain. Oh, all right, so it's got 3 mode. Hold on. Off-road, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't know what rally means. Let's go street mode. Ooh, I want quick shift on for sure. Okay, it was on, got it. All right, let's do it. She's snappy. I mean, think about it this way. 100 horsepower for a bike that weighs 441 pounds is, I mean, you're keeping up with 600 Super Sports. Now, you're probably beating 600 Super Sports up until you get to, 100 miles an hour, and then that Super Sport's gonna smoke you. That Super Sport's gonna pull away, but man, I bet this thing can really get the jump. I mean, in second gear, at the top end of second gear. Hold on a second, here's my friend. Hey, you need any help?
Nope, I'm all set.
You good? All right.
Thanks for checking.
Hey, no problem. So, clutch. Even though it's a cable clutch, man, it's really light. Very nice feeling cable clutch. This bike has ASV. I don't think that comes on the bike stock. Shifter is very nice. When you get down to first gear, you know you're in first gear. Some bikes you can keep on clicking and you're like, oh, it almost feels like you're going through different gears, but when you look, you realize you're not. On this bike, you get down to first gear, just all right, you feel the bottom. Wow. Pops in the neutral, really nice. I sure hope this isn't the bike that makes me want to buy a KTM. But I gotta admit, I mean, it sure is feeling good. Now, what they normally do, the rain mode and all the different modes, is generally a street mode. Probably has a lot of the driver's aids on it to keep you on the street. Rain mode's going to it's going to kind of slow down throttle response, so it's not so incredibly twitchy. It's going to change the mapping of it, so you can, you know, you don't accidentally give it a little too much throttle, and then you know, things get out of hand. Off-road mode is going to take out most of the driver's aids, and then if I had to guess, rally mode is just all driver's aids completely off, maybe with the exception of front ABS. If you're not familiar with quick shift, this is quick shift. It's just I'm able just to pop it in the gear with the throttle, completely in the throttle, and not even touching the clutch. It feels good. The quick shift feels good. Although it does not feel as smooth as it is when you're using the clutch. I don't know why, because the other bikes normally are smooth. So forget you, KTM. You suck. This bike sucks. Nah, this bike is really impressive. And for my buddy Brock, to give his opinion on this bike, you know, he's owned one of these. He currently does not own one. Of this being an incredibly, really great bike, you know, I put a lot of weight on that. However, I'm not going to go sell my BMW yet. I'm excited to see get this thing in the twisties and see how this thing actually handles. So this bike is supposed to be incredibly good off-road, but also you should be able to do all the normal road stuff. So you know, I've hit higher speeds on this. I've cruised at highway speeds. It feels great. It's definitely geared for it. It's got plenty of torque. I mean, I'm at 2,000 RPMs, 6 gear, going 43 miles per hour. I mean, and if I roll on it, it just wants to go. Now, if you're wondering about the device up here, this is an additional Garmin that's all plugged in. Let's just keep on going, That's all wired into it. A lot of times guys want to put in another infotainment center. This can adapt, this can change. You have the bike for 10 years, you don't want to use the old system. A lot of times they stop updating it, but you can keep on switching out your map system. So the ergonomics of the bike, the way I'm sitting, you can see knees are in front of my feet. This is a typical adventure bike stance. Incredibly comfortable. Like, this is about as comfortable as you could be cruising on the road, on the highway, whatever. The windscreen's going to take off most of the air hitting me in the head. And depending how tall you are, I don't think it's adjustable. Depending how tall you are or how high you sit up, you know, I'm not feeling any buffeting or excess wind hitting my skull. Now up here, when I get the okay, we'll do a 0 to 60 run. And it's a pretty quick bike. The problem with something like this is it's just going to be keeping the front end down, and I think I'll probably have to get in the second to get a 0 to 60. Now we're getting into the part of the video where we're gonna hit some corners. Trying my best to say something bad about this bike. Nothing's really coming. Call and make sure you stay on your side of the lane, and we won't run into each other. You're good. You can get up front a little bit. Brakes feel nice and tight. And I know these tires are fresh, but these are adventure bike. These are the off-road tires. These are as off-road as you can get. They don't and they're gonna feel okay on the street, but man, they're not going to feel as good as even some 50/50 tires. You would ride and be like, oh, 50/50 tires feel great. If you put some a real nice set of like 17, or you know, some real good road tires, oh man, this bike would tear it up. All right, let's try our best with a 0 to 60. 3, 2, 1, go. '60. Oh man, that was a real bad 0 to 60. On the way back, we'll try it again. I really, I was too easy on the launch, and I think I got in the third gear. I don't think I needed to get in the third gear on that 0 to 60. I think second would have gotten me. Oh, you good? All right, up here. Let's do another 0 to 60. Let's try it again. See if I can do this bike some justice. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. There. right, that was a lot better. Still, man, I got to get that launch a little bit better. I'm going to try that launch one more time because I'm really just babying that launch. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, best one. That was my best one for sure. We'll put the number on that one. Now, like most adventure bikes, when you're really heavy accelerating and it's got a lot of suspension travel, the front end feels a little loose. Still, you know, it's kind of floating on you. That's not a negative about the bike. That's me doing something with the bike that it was not really meant to do. You know, this is an adventure bike. It's made to do adventure things. Yeah. Just come. There we go. All right. Just come in super hot and then. So this bike would feel significantly more at home on a dirt road. After talking to Brock, you know, he was saying that he's done motocross tracks up, you know, he's done motocross tracks with his 890, and it was taking it. It was handling the jumps and. I will say this, because I am I really like my BMW. And the benefit that this bike has is it weighs probably about 100 pounds lighter than my BMW, which is awesome. Like that right there is a reason to get it. My BMW is faster. There's no way this thing would out. My BMW feels faster, and seems to be able to keep the power on the ground better. But that's also not a reason to buy an adventure bike. There's plenty of other reasons, plenty of other factors. But this thing does very well what it's made to do, and I'm pretty impressed. Also, I'm kind of blown away by how smooth it is. You know, it's a nice parallel twin. It's very smooth. It's very smooth when you're at the right RPMs. When you're jugging it at 6th gear, going 45 miles an hour, it's you know, it chugs a little bit, but that's because it should be. You know, it wants to be at 4,000 RPMs and above. I would not pick this bike to be my daily bike if I was doing a lot of street riding. If you're just going to street ride it, man, get the cheaper one. It's actually meant for the street. It's set up better for the street. You won't have to spend money to, you know, unset it up. If you're gonna buy this bike, you need to be adventure riding. You need to be really, it's pretty much your dirt bike at that. Listen, don't get me wrong, it does the street great. It'll get you from trail to trail. But this thing's really set up to be just an amazing dirt bike. And do a lot of really impressive stuff. You know, I take it back. I mean, it's a great street bike. I know what this bike would feel like if it had some street tires, and it'd be like a supermoto. I mean, you'd be having the best time. So it's kind of blown my mind away in the past, you know, maybe month or 6 weeks. We've test driven 2 KTMs. I really like both of them. How did that happen? I'm not really sure. But maybe KTM is finally growing on me. Not enough for me to sell my BMW. Or go buy a KTM. Alright guys, that wraps up the video. We'll see you guys next time. And remember, it is not what you're riding, but where are you going?